in light of Women's History Month. Hip Hop for Change is hosting their annual Women's Empowerment Summit on Saturday. The event is focused on dismantling stereotypes and building a more inclusive, equitable, and empowering future for women. Here to speak with us more about it is Hip Hop for Change's Executive Director, Khafre J. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you for having me here.
So tell me, what is at the heart of this, Khafre, about really trying to make a difference?
Yeah, point blank, 93.1% of all the songs in the top 100 and 200 in the last decade came from three companies. Three companies never really reflected the trueness and the reality of the urban community. And what that looks like is we don't see many women in mainstream hip hop. That doesn't mean half our culture ain't women. But what it does mean is that our women artists aren't being represented, aren't being paid, they're not getting paychecks to rap, and our youth, our little homies, are not getting those important narratives so they can understand what women go through. So we always hold events centered around social justice. This one's women's empowerment. We got 20 women artists that are gonna rock the house. We have Amani J, Little MC doing a women's empowerment workshop. We got a panel discussion centered around mothers in hip hop, and a bunch of local artists like Kamaya, Sulan, and Jane Hancock. Event's free, so if you've never had a hip hop show that you really wanted to go to, if you didn't like the way the media has been representing our women, then you gotta come to this show. If your little homies, if your kids have not seen real hip hop and haven't seen these important narratives for women, they gotta come this Saturday.
So I understand in regards to dismantling some of those completely outdated and, frankly, silly is the nicest word I can think of. But what are you kind of hoping to really elevate in all this?
Really just the voices of half of our culture. Half our culture is women. And when it comes to hip hop on the ground, it looks much different than it does in the media. These three corporations, Time, Sony, and Universal, that own about 93% of what we get to see. So in the community, hip hop looks like empowerment. Most of our artists are educators, teachers in some way, they're activists. But more importantly, the ideas that go around the hood are the confines our kids dream in. So if we don't have these amazingly powerful women sharing their voices, getting their narratives, their stories out there, then how are our kids gonna know what women go through? We're setting our kids up for failure if we're not connecting them to the cultural leaders in our communities. And right now, the media's not doing that. So Hip Hop for Change takes that stage. We make sure we're uplifting all the most important voices in the culture of hip hop. That's what we do.
I love all these pictures because the best part about all the pictures that you sent to us is that everyone's smiling. I mean, I love that.
Well, the principal tenets of hip hop are peace, love, unity, and having fun. Remember, this comes from marginalized communities. Black kids in America have 50% access to art classes as white children in America. So notice why hip hop is so ubiquitous in the hood. It costs nothing. It's one of the most universal cultures ever, and it's the only culture that's rooted in self-affirmation. And when nothing in the hood tells you you're something, the hip hop will. You go out into the woods and we get kids rapping about ecology, right? We get kids talking about women's empowerment and making rap songs and graffiti murals about it. It's centered in fun. And if we don't bring that type of fun into the classroom, I don't know what we're doing with the kids. That's why we've worked with 28,000 kids K through 12 worldwide.
Now, tell me a little bit. I'm looking at the printout in regards to Saturday. So it starts at what time? Walk me through all of the events.
Absolutely. So be there a little early, but it's starting at 4 p.m. It's going to start out with a wonderful women's empowerment workshop highlighting the contributions of women in our culture, because we don't get to see that often. It's going to be led by Amani Jade and Little MC, two of our amazing educators. After that, we're going to have a panel discussion with about 7 or 8 mothers in hip-hop talking about the experiences of being a mom in hip-hop and what they go through. And these are narratives that need to be heard, so be there. And then after that, we got dancers, we got DJs, and we got Kamaya, Oakland great, coming to burn the house down. This is free. It's all ages, so come through, especially if you don't like the way women have been represented in hip-hop, then it's your obligation to be there. If you have young kids who have never seen hip-hop, and need to know, this is where you take them. You don't just let them, you don't just leave them to these corporations to give them what black and brown culture is. You've got to feed them, show them the right way, and this event is that.
Okay, promise me this, that when the event, so we can have this on our streaming app as well as on Cron 4, make sure that you send some pictures and so forth so that we can share it with everyone. Deal?
Absolutely. And everybody else, go to hiphopforchange.org, subscribe to our newsletter. And I just got to say, remember, a lot of people are supporting Black nonprofits, but people have left behind Black arts orgs and Black mental health organizations. It's the only thing we can bank on. So if you're going to donate and support something, donate to Black arts. We need to get this off our chest. So check us out.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Khafre, for joining us. We really appreciate the time. And again, you made a promise. You have to send us pictures, okay? Or video.
I got your back. I got your back.
That's what I'm talking about. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll look forward to those pictures.
Awesome. Be well.
Thank you.